All right, guys, welcome back to the Clack Shack, and nothing real specific on the agenda for tonight. Uh, I decided I'm going to call it an early night tonight. I just came out here piddling with a few things that I had going on, but I have a couple of things that I wanted to share with you. I've had some ideas in my head, and I haven't had a chance to actually execute them yet. So I've got two things that I want to show you. I made an upgrade to my enclosure, first of all, and it's a pretty significant upgrade, in my opinion, for what I do and how I use my laser. And I have a new material that I was unaware we could engrave, but apparently you can. So if you stick around for a minute, we're going to get into that. Be right back. All right, guys. First of all, I want to point out to everybody, there's going to be a lot of random stuff in this video. None of it's going to stick together. None of it's going to make any sense to you. But first of all, no more just random T-shirts wearing in the videos, okay? I did get a few different colors because for the wardrobe police out there, I know a lot of y'all may be like, you wear the same pair of pants, but I actually don't wear the same pair of pants. I have a whole bunch of the same pants that are exactly the same. But the T-shirts that I had made, I did have some assorted colors. And I'm going to have to let you guys in on a little bit of a secret to make this make sense to you so nobody thinks I'm crazy. But that's the T-shirts that I had made. I went to a local business here in town. Coincidentally, it's the same business that I'm partnering with on the hats. And, you know, I originally made that connect by going in and trying to get these shirts made. And then, you know, they figured out what I did, and that's where the hat stuff came up. But the part that I'm going to have to let you in on a little secret so that you'll understand it, and it'll probably all make sense. And some of you guys may have already figured out my secret. I know a few of you have because I've got some messages from you. It's not something I discuss a lot. It's not something I like to bring into the Clack Shack because this is my little oasis of peace, and this is where I come out here to express my creativity and to kind of decompress from work and stuff like that. But pay attention, guys, because I'm not going to make a habit of repeating this. But the back of the shirt, there's a phrase on there, and I don't know if you can read that or not, but it's got clactical is the word on the top, and it says it's basically like a dictionary entry. It says clactical is an adjective. It says relating to or constituting designs or builds by clack, modifications to existing designs to make them better. Okay, and before anybody thinks, oh, you came up with that, and let me tell you the backstory so that everybody understands where this came from. I have been a police officer since 1999, okay? I've done everything pretty much from working cyber crimes, being a detective, working patrol, and for a brief period in my younger days, I was a member of the Special Operations Team, or SWAT, or whatever you want to call it. And in that role, there are times where you need, you buy equipment or you use equipment, and sometimes, if any of you's on the job or does it, you know that sometimes when you buy equipment, it's just not quite how you want it, And so a lot of my teammates on the team at the time coined a phrase, and they used to always, like, somebody would see something on our truck that I had modified to make it just a little bit better than it was when we bought it. And so the word clactical was kind of derived from the word tactical, because when we would buy things, they would be tactical. But once I got a hold to them and made some modifications, added some things, some bells and whistles or whatever, then my teammates said it was clactical because it was tactical, but it had been modified by me. So that's where this came from. And that has been a phrase in certain circles for a long time now. And so the ones of you that didn't know, there you have it. That's my big secret. Some of you figured it out. And most of the ones that figured it out because a lot of my t-shirts that I've been wearing, it's kind of obvious, okay? I got a lot of K9 t-shirts. I got a lot of Tactical Operations Conference t-shirts. I got a lot of t-shirts that from years of doing this, that's pretty much all I own when it comes to t-shirts. So just so you know, that's where the phrase came from. I am nearing my 22nd year. So I've got about 3 more years, give or take, depending on some things beyond my control, that I plan to retire, and this is going to be where I stay. So for those of you that follow me, that's the backstory. Like I said, I don't bring it up a whole lot on YouTube. I'm not here to play politics. I'm not here to have the conversation about, you know, law enforcement or, you know, the bad apples of the bunch or whatnot. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to build things. I'm here to burn things, and I'm here to help everybody learn. So we'll zip that back up and keep that as our secret. But anyway, I've got some t-shirts now, but I didn't want the guys that, you know, if you don't like the phrase, I'm sorry, but I did want you guys to understand it and know why I went with that. But that's just kind of a throwback to, you know, my career. So, but I do have t-shirts now, and my friends at the sports shop here in Clanton are the ones that hooked me up with the shirts. I've got several more, but these are just kind of the prototypes that they made me. So, but I won't be wearing everybody else's t-shirts now. But if you see that, that's what that means. And like I said, now you know my secret. So, other than that, I have a couple things that I've been doing. I was thinking about clothes, and I was on wardrobe, and I've been really, really wondering if I could engrave blue jeans. And luckily, in my closet, I found a pair of blue jeans that I haven't worn since the 90s. And so I took that and did a little bit of a power test on it and figured out some settings. And I will say this, yes, you can engrave blue jean denim material with the D1 Pro 20 watt, but fine detail is not gonna happen. So if you wanted to do a heart, or if you wanted to do some type of tribal design or something like that, I think it's very doable. But fine detail, it's not happening. Unless you get, maybe if you get a new pair of jeans. Like I said, these are relics from the 90s. So these probably aren't exactly the same. But I've got the settings for that, and I'll share that with you if you want to try it. Like I said, a little word of advice, be careful with this stuff. I ran a very low power, high speed test on them just to avoid any fires, because some materials, you know, will cause a fire, and fire is not your friend. But the settings I ran them at 150 millimeters per second, and I run it at 75% output, and I just did one single pass. It's not, you can look on the inside of the pants here. It didn't come all the way through. It doesn't appear to have punched a bunch of holes in the fabric. It just more or less scorched the fabric and left the design. So if you wanted to do some decorating on your blue jeans, or, you know, if you're one of those people that are handy with a needle and thread and wanted to make some type of a book cover or you know, purse or wallet or whatever out of blue jean material, and you have an X tool, then that might be something you're interested in doing. But I wanted to share that with you. Like I said, 150 millimeters per second at 75% power output. And you can see here, let me try to get a little closer, and I'll show you the results, and I'll show you my little power grid that I did. And the power grid, wait a minute here, guys, if this is gonna focus. Hang on. Woo. This camera whoops me every time, guys. But the, I really need a camera. I need a dedicated camera person, or either like a smart camera. My dumb camera's not getting it. Hang on, let me move this little box that moves around all the time. All right, so there's the engrave, and like I said, I just used my logo because it was there, and the light's kind of playing with you. But I put a few shapes and stuff on there, and the power settings, I did a pretty wide values on my power settings, and it really just kind of had the same result. So I went with that one that I told you. But anyway, guys, so you can file that away, write that down in your notes of material powers. If you're watching the video, in case you ever do decide to engrave blue jeans, you don't have to go looking for it. But I'm assuming that would probably work with some other materials as well, but it worked on these blue jean pants here. So the next thing that I want to show you, and I think this is probably the coolest thing that I've got to share tonight, is everybody knows that I work on multiple projects at one time. Well, I've come up with a safety feature for my enclosure, and I'm going to move the camera around and stop the video because my 20-minute timer will get me. And I'm going to show you exactly what I have done to my enclosure to hopefully make it a little bit safer for me. All right, there it is, guys. You guessed it. It's a smoke detector. And I wasn't sure that this would work. My vacuum table is very effective, but I didn't know what the parts per million on these things is or how it goes about calculating whether to activate or not. So the only way for me to find out was to put it in here and try it. So, hang on, I got some dust in my throat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you that this actually does work. I apologize, this is going to be a little bit lengthy because it takes a few minutes for it to build up enough smoke to activate. The thought here, dust is getting me, guys. The thought here is that with the laser running, I don't want this thing going off. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I've got a burn set up, and I tested it earlier to make sure that this burn would activate the smoke detector if the vacuum table was turned off. And I have verified that it will. Now I'm going to show you that it will. But the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to run this burn, this same burn, and I'm going to run it like 2 or 3 passes. It's the exact same shape. It's a circle that's about 1.5 inches around. And I'm going to run this burn 2 or 3 passes. I've got it set to 3 passes. And I'm going to run this burn with the vacuum table on and show you the results, and then I'm going to cut the table off and show you that. So I apologize, but this is going to be a bit lengthy. So here we go. The machine is starting, glass is on, and I've got the vacuum table on, and so far it appears that my vacuum table is adequate to prevent a accidental discharge of this thing. Now, I can't make any guarantees. Like I said, I haven't had it in there that long. I've just been playing with it this afternoon. And the reason that I'm doing this, guys, is because y'all all know that I do woodworking projects and I do builds and stuff like that. And sometimes I'm not sitting here looking at my machine. And I know that this machine, the X2 D1 Pro, I know it has a feature to where if it senses fire, it will cut itself off. But if the fire has already ignited, you know, that could still be a problem, especially on some other materials that are a little more flammable than just wood. So my theory was that in the event that there is an actual fire inside here, it will generate substantially more smoke than the 20-watt laser will, and it would overwhelm the laser. Now, I'm going to go an extra step after we show that I can operate my machine with it in there without activating it. And I'm going to, we're starting on the second pass now. And this is a solid piece of pine that's about 3/4 of an inch thick, and it smokes really bad. Y'all seen me doing my stove covers. This stuff smokes to high heaven when you're engraving it. So it's starting on the second pass now, and still no smoke detector activation. I'm going to let it go all the way to the third pass. And like I said, I apologize for keeping you, but this is actually something that I think could benefit you. And I'm not saying it's 100%. In no shape, form, or fashion am I saying that this is 100%, cure for the problem. But it's one more tool in your toolbox, and that is a $25 10-year Kidda smoke detector that I have got some sticky tape and adhered it to the back of my enclosure. And it is very loud. Even inside that enclosure, it'll get your attention when it goes off. So it's wrapping up on the second pass now. Let me see if I can move the camera where you can get a little bit better view of what the machine's doing. At least it won't just be sitting there. So it's starting on the second pass now. And like I said, that's probably an 1 3/4, almost 2-inch circle. And I've got the power settings crunk up enough to generate smoke, but not just cut a hole through the material. It's running at 125 speed at 50% power. And that's, a good speed for engraving on wood. I do have the air assist on. So that's kicking up some dust and everything as well with the smoke detector. The only thing that I have a concern about, and I'm going to have to make sure that I do it when I clean my enclosure, is the little small particles of dust. I'm going to need to make sure I take my air hose and kind of blow the dust out of that thing from time to time to make sure it doesn't get stopped up. But I'm not depending on this thing to tell me if there's a fire. I'm hoping that I'll be here. I'm hoping that I'll be able to see it. But in the event that I'm looking away, I figure one more layer of security, one more layer of protection is not a bad idea. So here we go. Like I said, this is the third pass, and guys, you can see that it's we're just cutting right along, engraving right along, and no activation on the smoke detector. So once this completes, I'm going to move my circle over, and I'm going to start another one. And I'm going to leave my vacuum table off, and we'll see how long it takes for it to activate with the smoke buildup. So I've moved my circle over. I'm just going to frame just to be sure. The camera says I'm where I need to be, but so to make sure I'm on the wood. All right, I am cutting off the vacuum table. I'm going to leave my air assist going because I don't want my nozzle getting stopped up. So far, even after the 100 bandits that I did the other day, I took the nozzle off earlier because unfortunately, guys, my shield got shorter. I don't know what happened. It just fell off. I was doing leather and it kept hitting the leather and, this fell off. So my shield is now shorter. Oh, look at there, guys. Fire. And it's only made it 1/4 of a way through the burn. So I'm going to turn the vacuum table on, and I did learn too that in order to reset this guy, you have to hold that button in, and it'll reset itself. So there you have it, guys. And that really wasn't that heavy a smoke inside there. So I'm going to run it for a while, see how it works, and make sure there's not a whole bunch of false alarms. But preliminary results say that it's doing pretty well. With the vacuum table on, I did the 3 passes here and didn't have an activation. But I turned the vacuum table off and only made it about 1/3 of the way across before I got an activation. So as long as I'm running my exhaust, hopefully I won't get one unless it's just an overwhelming amount of smoke, such as a fire inside this big wooden box here. So there you have it, guys. You saw it here first. All right, guys, I am wrapping up for the night. I still got a little bit of daylight out there, so I think I'm gonna go do some porch sitting and just kind of hang out, maybe even catch a show or two on television. But that's it for me tonight. And if you do decide to try out my little bit of redneck engineering I got going on here with the smoke detector, let me know how it works for you. Your situation may be different than mine, just so you know. My vacuum table, like I said, it does pull a lot of smoke out of here. It doesn't allow for much to stay. So if you don't have adequate ventilation, you may have mixed results, but it works for me, guys. And like I said, it's not a foolproof plan, but it's just one more possibility that I might know if something goes wrong over here. So, you know, try if you want and let me know how it works. I will drop a link to this guy here in the description if you want to try it. They're 25 bucks on Amazon. It's not that much. And to me, if this will catch one fire and prevent the shack from, you know, burning to the ground, it is definitely worth the investment. And it also will remind you to turn on your ventilation if you forget. So thanks for stopping by, guys, and hit the subscribe button if you hadn't already. And I put out a video earlier trying to help out my friends at Rustic Relics here in Clanton. And if you got a minute, guys, go find that video. It was just a little while ago. And if you could just go and give those guys a good heart click on that post so that they can take home the gold in that award that they're trying to get. But thanks for coming and have a good day.